I'm going to make a granny square that has a flower in the middle of it, but it's a flat flower. It's not like my previous popcorn daisy. So I'm using Ultra Mellospun DK, and I've got a yellow, a green, and a white. This is from Mary Maxim. They've discontinued this Ultra Mellospun. They have a new Mellospun, but it's a little different. And I'm not sure what colors they have now. It's a light 3, and I'm using a 4.25 hook with some makeup sponges on it. So let's get started. You can use any size yarn you like as long as the hook matches. And it only takes 3 colors. So just go ahead and put your slip knot on your hook. We'll do 4 chains. Go back into that first chain and do a slip stitch. And make sure you find the center of that hole. Sometimes it helps to put your finger through it like that, or your fingernail, just to get it started. Okay. Now you just yarn over and pull through both of those loops. You go back into the center. Make sure that you're crocheting over the tail. It's important because that will cinch up when you're done, and it'll make it nice and tight. You're going to make 8 single crochets in the center all the way around. Happy first day of spring, everybody. Sounds like the kids next door are having a blast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this will be 8, and you will ignore the first stitch that you slip stitch into. Just ignore it. Okay, just do a couple of slip stitches to lock it down. I don't worry about the invisible slip stitch on the inner rows because you're not going to see it anyway. You just have to remember you only have 8 stitches on this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you don't want to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't want to count this one right here that you slipped into. Okay, I'm going to change our color now. We're going to put our hook in the stitch just before the slip knot and get our slip stitch on there. Pull it through. We're going to make our first petal. Okay, slip stitch just to anchor it down. You got your 2 tails over this way. I'm going to go ahead and crochet over those tails again. Go back into the same stitch. Pull up, you've got 2. Yarn over and hold that loop on your hook. Yarn over again, back into the same stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, and hold that on that stitch on your hook. This is a 3 together, so this will be your 3rd double crochet. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now you've got 3 together yarn over and pull through all of those, and then do 2 slip stitches. Okay, now here's the stitch that we're skipping, because that's the one that we did in the prior row. We did a slip stitch into, so we're just going to skip that one. Go into the next stitch, oops, sorry, you got to yarn over and then go into the next stitch, and then pull through 2 and hold it. Now you've got 2 on your hook because this loop is from the previous petal. Yarn over. Let's start our second double crochet, but we hold it. Now yarn over, start our last and third double crochet. Okay, so now we've got all of them on the hook plus the connection from the last petal. And we just yarn over and pull through all of them. Now we do 1, 2 chains. I'm sorry if I call them slip stitches a lot. I don't know why I have a hard time calling chains chains. So let's do another petal together. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, and then go through 2 and hold it. Yarn over, start your next double crochet, but hold it halfway through. The third and last double crochet, go through 2. Now you've got 3 double crochets on your hook. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through all of them, and chain 1, chain 2. Okay, do that all the way around. You got 3 petals on your hook. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more spaces to put petals into. I will meet you back. Okay, I'm back. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 petals. We've got 2 chains at the end of our last petal. We're going to the top of our petal, and we're just going to slip stitch into that top of the petal, and then chain 1 to lock it down. Okay, that's the second color done. Now you can put your slip stitch on your hook before you put it in, and then just slip stitch it through. It's really not important. We're not going to crochet into any of the tops of the stitches. We're only going to crochet into the spaces. Okay, so that's a slip stitch onto the space. And let's get this tail out here. I'm going to crochet over those 2, just a little bit, a couple of stitches. All right. Let's go down, come back up again. We've got 2 yarns on our hook, 2 loops. Now we're going to do a stack single crochet, which means we go back into the leg of the stitch and pull up that loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2. It's just continuous stacking of single crochets going up. Now we're going to put 2 double crochets. Now if you don't like doing stacked single crochets, you are welcome to do whatever method you like, either 3 chains or 2 chains to get up to that double crochet equivalent. Okay. Put in a chain, single chain, then yarn over and put 3 more double crochets into the same space to make your first corner. Alright, here's the third double crochet. So this is a corner cluster, 3 double crochets, 1 chain, 3 double crochets. Okay, now we're going to skip over to the next space, Just do a double crochet directly from the other double crochet. Don't put any chains in between. Put your 3 double crochets into the next space. This is a side space. Just like that. Okay. Alright, we're going to skip over. This is going to be another corner. Just put a double crochet directly into that space. No separating chains. The only time we put a separating chain between the granny clusters is when we are at our actual corner and we're just turning our chain there. That's it. We're turning our corner right there. Okay, so this is three double crochets and then a chain, and then 3 more double crochets, okay. Now I'm going to drop the tails. I've taken them pretty far. I don't really need to keep covering them. Now we're on the side cluster, just 3 double crochets, no chains. Okay, so that's the side. Now we're going to do another corner cluster. No chains, just 3 double crochets directly into the next space. I say very emphatically, do not add chains, because a lot of granny square patterns add a lot of space in between the clusters. And I don't need to do that, because then for me anyway, it gets really ruffly. And I don't need all that extra space. The only place I need it is when I'm turning a corner, right there. Let's find our space and do 3 double crochets. One of the things I like about granny clusters is if you accidentally forget to put all 3 of these double crochets into one of these clusters in any part of it, you're probably okay, because the next row will just be looking at the gaps between. They're not going to be counting every single stitch, generally, when you're doing a granny square pattern. So that is what I like about granny squares, is they're very forgivable. You don't have to worry about if you just miss a stitch here or there. The petals maybe a little less forgiving, but the granny stitch itself is very forgiving. Anyway, enjoy it. I'll meet you back and I'll show you the finished piece. Okay, we're at the end of the first granny square row. And for me, it'll be my last row. You can make more granny square rows if you want. Just keep going in between the spaces. Every place that you make a space between those 3 clusters. So I just slip stitched on top of the first stitch we made in this row, and then I did a chain just to lock it down. Now you don't have to do that, but I'm putting this into another piece, a bigger piece, so I'm not worried about the way this knot looks. You can do what's known as an invisible slip stitch, and I'll show you how to do that with the hook. You don't have to do it with the needle if you don't want to. I'll show you. Yeah, I did. Okay, so yeah, you cut it and then you pull it through, and then you go into the top of the stitch and you hook it and you pull through both loops, Now you see how it's coming out of the center here? You want it to go back down into the center, so you put that hook up underneath the back loop and just pull it back down into it. And there's your final stitch. And you can kind of like work with it so it's not too tight. But there, it looks like it's perfect, the same as everything else. You just need to use a needle to sew it in. You can use any kind of needle that you like, whatever's appropriate for your yarn. Okay, so we have this coming around and then it comes out here. Do you see where the next V is? These V's, some of them are tight, some of them are loose. Go into the next V and keep going under those. Just like 3 stitches is good. You want to keep going in the same direction that you were turning. Now pull it tight and then go under like the next V, but the other way. You go around the other way. Okay. And you don't have to go all the way, just halfway is good. And I'm going to do one more time. This is very slippery yarn. It's not as bad as like bamboo or Caron Simply Soft, but it is pretty slippery. I'm going to jump ahead over another stitch. You don't want to go back into the same place that you were. You need to anchor it, so you have to go back. You have to go over a stitch and then go back the other way. Okay, and that should be good. 3 stitches is good. You've already gone around the one time. So now it's tight. I will finish up the rest of the hiding of the yarns and I'll beat you back. I'm back. I just wanted to show you when you crochet over your tails, you're leaving yourself just 2 more passes. You don't have to do 3. I usually do 3 passes, but if you cover the first time, that just all you have left is 2 more. And if your tail's getting short, you can just go through with the back of the, go backwards through the needle. And you only need to go through like 3 yarns. It really doesn't have to be that far. Like that. And that's it. Try not to pull it too tightly. You don't want to pull your stitches out of alignment. And try not to hide too many tails under the same stitches. So since I went in there, I'm going to go in here. And I'm just going to loop it underneath of this white yarn. And you can turn directions if you want to. You can just like go down into the other petals or whatever. You know, stay inside the same color. I just don't want to mess up my my petals. So I'm just going to go like that. And go back under the granny stitch cluster. And then just kind of give it a little tug. That way your ends hopefully go underneath, and you also can spot any places that hasn't really taken to being hidden. But there it is. I hope you like it. And this is what I would consider a good garment granny square flower because it doesn't have a lot of raised stuff, and you know, you can put this very comfortably on your body, and it won't be too difficult. You, like I said, you can make it bigger, or you can just put a lot of little cute little granny squares together like this. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Crochet your way today, because it's the only time you have.